You've heard of the compliment sandwich. Now it's time for the patent-pending SHOCKMANIA compliment hamburger. The idea is very simple. We take a movie that we know is going to be bad, and then we sandwich 2 compliments around it. In this case, we're going to make a hamburger. So that means a nice soft bun with some kind of unknown filling. We won't know what that filling is until we've explored the bad parts of the movie. Now, don't worry if this doesn't make much sense now. I promise by the end of it, it certainly will. Now, a small disclaimer before we begin, and apologies in advance. The images of the hamburger that I've used have been created by AI. It's easier to do that than to actually make the burgers and take photos of them myself, because then someone would have to eat the burger. So in order for the compliment hamburger to work, we need to talk about something positive with the film. Now, luckily for us, and luckily for the film, there are 2 positive things that we can talk about. Now, one of those things is a very big spoiler, so we'll save that one to the end for the top part of the bun. But before we head into the first segment, the bottom bun, let's check out what the movie's about. A group of friends on a short holiday arrive at what they think is their Airbnb house in the middle of the woods. They find out they're in the wrong house, but since it's late, they decide to break in and stay the night. They wake the next morning to find their car missing and porridge on the table. Lacking the foresight or intelligence to leave the house, they stay the night again, only to discover there's a group of masked people trying to kill them. Those masked people end up catching them and teaching them a very valuable lesson. Now let's take a look at the bottom bun, the bit that keeps the burger together. We start off the compliment hamburger with something positive, and that is the performance of Olga Solo as Goldilocks. She's not the best actor, nor is she brilliant, but it's her exuberance in the role that really shines. She's a nutcase, and that's exactly what I expect from these characters. Since this is just a typically boring British slasher film, there was no chance that Goldilocks was going to be a complex or interesting character. So this is where Olga and her interpretation of the character step in. She takes pleasure in what she does. She delivers poignant monologues, especially about breaking into people's homes and the consequences that should come from it. Although coming from Goldilocks, that seems a bit rich. She dances around the scene with excitement and enjoys the idea of killing. Let's just ignore the cheat code gun she has with the unlimited ammo. It's a shame that it's only towards the end that we really get to experience this character. Seeing her earlier in the film would have really made it a little bit easier to get through. And the result is, I like her performance, and I also like brioche buns. So the first layer of this compliment hamburger is a brioche bun base. Damn, I have to say, that looks pretty delicious. Now this is the meat of the hamburger, so to speak, or at least I hope this is going to be meat, because when we consider that we're discussing the negative elements of the film, this might end up something completely different. Where should we start with this one? Firstly, I understand that this is a low budget title and something's got to give, but a little creativity in the storyline wouldn't hurt. I think defaulting back to a slasher film with just this fairy tale character wraparound is just a bit lazy. Having said that, slashers can certainly work when done well. The second Winnie the Pooh was fun, as was Popeye the Slayer Man. Those movies were fun because other parts of their movies also worked well together. Now if you're going to be a slasher, show me all the kills. There are a few characters who just mysteriously disappear when it's just assumed they've been killed. For example, our Sikh friend. And speaking of him, why does the movie introduce him as this awesome ass kicker, showing him doing some fighting moves, and then even discusses he's got some kind of military service, and only then for him to be dominated by the bears and just disappear? Also, how old is he supposed to be in this film? On top of that, not one of the characters in this movie is remotely likable. Our main girl is an annoying drunk, while the other girl is just as annoying. Throw in the bearded guy who complains for the entire movie about the lack of Wi-Fi in the house, and then this mysterious older man who doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of the cast. Who is he? And why is he hanging around people a lot younger than him? Then there's the acting. With the exception of Olga as Goldilocks, who adds her own unique campiness to a character that definitely needed to be overacted. The rest of the cast simply don't know what they're doing or saying. That part's very obvious when it's clear there's an abundance of lines that have been dubbed in post-production. Did the actors flub their lines? Was the delivery bad? Did the director decide after shooting the film that he wanted to change the storyline completely? Who knows? But the truth is the acting's very poor, and that just adds to the breaking of immersion in this film. Speaking of things done in post-production, someone has clearly made a few color correcting errors. Often you'll notice the colors washed out in one shot, only to be back to normal in another, and then washed out to the point of being in black and white a few moments later. What the heck was going on here? But as mentioned, it's really hard to overlook the naffness in the storyline. Why do these people decide to stay in the house? Why don't they try and survive by escaping? Why don't their phones work? When we can clearly see at the start of the film when they arrive at the house that one of them is talking on the phone to the Airbnb owner. And why does this blonde girl try to seduce the older man when it's clear that he and the other girl have some kind of thing going on? All up, this is truly terrible. And when I consider what kind of hamburger patty would truly reflect this, I would have to say it's a combination of lentils and chickpea patty. Two foods that will make you fart a lot. That's what you'll feel when you'll be watching this movie. You'll want to fart a lot. What a horrible looking hamburger patty. And while I could blame the AI for this visual abomination, the reality is there's no way to make a chickpea and lentil patty look appealing. Now this is something different and completely exclusive to the patent-pending SHOCKMANIA Compliment Hamburger. Condiments. This is an opportunity for the movie to redeem itself with a sweetener that could sway my opinion. For example, it could be a nude scene or an awesome kill. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but there is zero nudity in this film. Which is a shame. If Olga had disrobed for a bit, could have sparked a bit of interest. Likewise, the kill scenes are weak and some of them aren't even shown on screen. I'm almost tempted to give something here due to the Toxic Avenger style head mashing scene by the car tire, but I just can't. Sorry. No cheese, no onions, no sauces, nothing. This is a very bland looking hamburger. Let's end this with the top bun, another compliment, and this one I feel is very much deserved. I mentioned before that this would be a spoiler, so stop here if you're keen to watch this and not be spoiled by what happens at the end. Let's be honest, you're not going to watch this movie, so you might as well just continue on. Let me correct that. I love the fact that Goldilocks and the three bears win in the end. It's very, very rare that the bad guys are the winners, but here we are. Goldilocks and the three other people want to teach these home invaders a lesson. Don't break into people's houses, sleep in their beds, and eat their porridge. Only a fairy tale character would do that, not a real person. So thus, I love the fact that Goldie delivers very brutal justice to them. I don't like the fact that the woman and her husband at the end of the film were killed because they're just caught up in this mess. They don't deserve to die, but that's a minor blemish in the ending. This movie really deserves its brioche bun top. But holy hell, that's one very bland and unappealing looking hamburger. A lentil and chickpea patty served in a brioche bun with no sauces or other ingredients. I pity the person who has to eat that, just like I pity the person who wants to watch this film. But Olga's performance makes it kind of bearable. Have you seen this movie? And what did you think of it? I'm the Auntie Dans. You are watching SHOCKMANIA. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Compliment Hamburger. What would you give this movie? What kind of hamburger do you think this movie would be? Otherwise, I look forward to reading your responses in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, all that other jazz, and I'll catch you next time.